Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still going strong right here on Wake Up Nigeria. And right about now, we're about to have a very interesting conversation on wellness. And I have with me Busayo Oyedemi. Awola. So we're literally having that back and forth. So that's what the pause is about. So for people that have watched you over the past 3 weeks, let's explain to them what has happened.
All right. So basically, we've been talking about wellness in terms of menstruation and flow.
Okay.
So we are trying to, understand what menstruation is to the general populace. Compared to what we all know as period.
As a period.
As period. It's not just a one phase of a woman's life that we see as every monthly period. It's like the whole cycle. So you only see one phase of the cycle.
Of the cycle, and you're calling it a
period.
Period. All right, so we're going to break it down today, and then adding a little shema in that mix. We're going to be adding hormones, right? And explaining the relationship between hormones and flow. So I was saying to explain to them the name. Because we've been going with Busayo all the weeks, and now we have changed because we are married. Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
Bless. So it's Oyedemi, Busayo Oyedemi right now. All right, congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you very much.
All right, so now let's talk about hormones, right? So of course, a lot of people, I'm of the school of thought that, hormones literally, as a woman, literally affects everything. Do you understand that? But people don't get it. Especially the men, they don't even want to. They say, no, it's not an excuse. But anyways, we'll go there. So let's talk about how hormone affects our flow. Okay,
so generally, for every woman of reproductive age, there's two particular main hormones, which are the progesterone and estrogen. So just by way of introduction, hormone is that chemical that is responsible for control of different activities in the body. So just to know, whether you're a male or a female, you have hormones controlling different parts of your body. But just for the case of the reproductive system, which is what we are talking today, there are basically two, major two, and there are some other ones which we'll be discussing today. So I would like to say the major two are estrogen, progesterone, the other ones which are the luteinizing hormone, the follicular stimulating hormones, and then the prostaglandin. So these 5 hormones actually play a key role in menstruation, in general menstrual cycle. As I said.
So now on our topic, we have hormone and flow. Now, but then again, we were speaking earlier and you talked about how some people mistake flow with the cycle. So let's break it down. Now, what's the relationship and difference between flow and cycle?
All right. So basically, flow is what we typically call period. And basically, it's just the shedding of the internal lining of the uterus. So flow, which is menstruation, which is also period, is a phase of the cycle. So there are about 4 phases in the cycle. So we have the menstrual phase, which is what we see as period, then the follicular phase, the ovulation phase, and then the luteal phase. So all those 4 phases make up the cycle. So one out of the whole cycle is what we call the flow, which is the menstrual phase.
That particular menstrual phase. That's just one part. But then again, throughout the entire month, different parts of this particular flow is actually happening. All right, now let's talk about hormones and how hormone plays a key role in the flow now? In the flow, right?
Cycle.
In the whole cycle. Now let's talk about that.
All right, so because the thing is that every woman goes through this phase. And many persons have been diagnosed with different diseases like polycystic ovarian syndrome, which actually causes a lot of disturbance in the hormones. So basically, understanding yourself, even your peak active days, is based on your hormones. So you can imagine, for when you are on your menstrual phase, there are certain hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, they're actually at their low level. So you are moody, you are not that in your bright face, you are cranky, you are tired, you're exhausted. Basically because of not just the hormones, not just the 2 typical hormones, there's also another hormone called prostaglandin. Although they always say it's like a chemical, but not really the usual kind of hormone, but it's what is responsible for the cramps we see, and it's the one that forces the blood to actually leave the uterus itself. So because lately I saw a post and someone say, I'm on my period and I get kind of serious leg pain, I can't stand, I am very weak, and it's all due to the prostaglandin basically, because what is a prostaglandin is like a pain. Let me just say it causes pain. So it affects the uterus by causing contraction and relaxation.
Okay.
So that action itself,
yes, is
like,
what's
yeah. So and because it stimulates the nerves in the uterus to cause that process, and by the time that is happening, the pain is also referred to the back and then to the leg, causing those severe cramps. So that particular hormone, let me call it hormone too, because it's also part of it. It's one that needs to be very studied, and that's why most of the time when persons take NSAIDs, pain relief, the pain subside because it attacks the prostaglandin.
Okay. So but then again, when we see the release of that hormone, it's not a bad thing.
It's not
from
bad.
What you're explaining.
Yeah, it's normal.
But then again, we just see, because it has that negative expression, we see it as, oh yeah, I mean, this is actually causing me pain, so I don't even want it. But then again, is it good now? That's what we talk about. I mean, taking painkillers to affect that. Does it affect that, or does it just affect the fact that you're feeling that pain, or takes the pain away?
So the NSAIDs, basically pain relief, don't stop.
It doesn't stop it from doing the work, right?
It only reduces your perception.
Yes, of it. Exactly.
Yeah, that's just what it does.
So it just probably dulls your pain receptors.
Exactly.
All right.
So that's how it works.
Amazing. So now let's talk about hormones. I think in general, how they affect. So now we talk about how you wake up on some days and then you're so happy and you're pumped and all of that, and then sometimes. So you're saying that this is something that happens normally, because it's a cycle. It goes up and it goes down. But then again, some people, for instance, now to talk about how some people get depressed during this period. Some people call it PTSD. Like there's a whole lot attributed to this. So now, at what point do you know that, okay, fine, this is normal, but then when it goes beyond this point, then start seeking help?
Yeah.
How do we
also basically, let's just put the whole cycle as a 28 days, the typical one, but not everybody has a 28-day cycle. So like your first few days of your period, which is the first phase.
Let's clear it now. When does the cycle start counting from?
Also, so the cycle starts in the first day you saw your period.
Okay.
That's your first day of the cycle.
Okay.
So, and it's expected to be between 21 to 35 days. So let's say, and that is meant to last for 3 to 7 days. For some person, it's not always 28 days, and it's not always 3 days, and it's not always 5 days. So like it can be, is a range. So you can imagine those first few weeks where your progesterone, your estrogen are low, because progesterone and estrogen are seen as happy hormones. So like they make you excited, which are always at their high peak during ovulation phase, which is like the third phase. But moving to menstruation phase, everything is a product of the fact that you feel the body from the previous cycle.
Ew,
yeah.
Really? Yes. So when you say feel the body, what do you mean?
Okay, so the aim of every time you're on your period is to get you pregnant. Anytime you're on your cycle is to get
every time. Okay.
So imagine when your first phase you are seeing is a product of the fact that you didn't do what you're meant to do in the past. So you saw that, and then you are tired, your body telling you that yes,
like you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, bear the consequence. So everything is low then, and even though we said there's a particular hormone called follicular stimulating hormone, it starts picking up itself. Okay, let's start preparing this lady for the next month. So during that phase, as the menstrual phase has passed, then the follicular phase starts, and it just means that the eggs are getting ready to release their best fit. Okay,
so now we know that, but I think we need to definitely wrap up right about now, but very briefly, considering the fact that this is your last week on the show. Thank you so much for coming. And let's just round up very quickly. So what is the key message we're taking away from this entire series?
Okay, so the key message is just that period is not, because we also talked about stigmatization. Know your period. Anytime your period is extending beyond 5 days, beyond 7 days rather, for consistently is not normal. And then when your cycle length is less than 21 days or greater than 35 days, it's cycle length, like counting. Yeah, so it's not normal. So it's actually very important you keep a calendar, use your app, download different apps. There are different apps that can help you track your period. So that is very important. And also, period is not shameful.
It's not shameful.
We should normalize it. It's not something that every male, every person have to be involved in this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. We definitely loved having you all for weeks. And of course, know that your period is not your enemy, right? It's just helping you do what your body is meant to do. And men, please get in on the conversation. Thank you so much. Right.